You're in control of how you feel. You're in control. You are the determining factor of your feelings. No one else can control how you feel. Remember, you're in control of how you feel. So control your feelings.
Welcome to another episode of the Mr. Mindful Minute podcast, where we touch on different things, on different areas of life, on how we could go from a nothing place to a something place. And today we are touching on manipulation. Yes, we are talking about manipulation, whether you are a manipulator or whether you're somebody who has been gotten manipulated. And we know that that is very uh, wide, of a very amount of things that can actually cover. But I feel as though that manipulation is not something that's talked about, and I want to shed light onto it. And maybe it will help people to see maybe manipulating behaviors that they have, and it will also help people to see how they may also be getting manipulated. So we want to actually touch on the fact of what manipulation actually means. Like, we hear it all the time. We're like, oh man, they being real manipulative, or this person was being real manipulative. We look at people that we know, like, man, they was manipulating, but we don't always actually know the defined terms, right? So the defined terms of manipulation is actually somebody that is trying to take control of a situation or of a person. And so what they'll do is they're trying to actually engage in that person's emotion or in their mental. Because when you engage in their emotions and their mental, you want them to feel a certain way. And what is going to happen is when they feel a certain way, they are going to actually feel obligated to do something for you. They're going to feel a measure of guilt. And so that is how the manipulation works, because the manipulator, they are trying to take a person's power. And so that's why everything that what they're doing is wrong. Manipulation is wrong. You should not be doing it to people. Now, a lot of times we'll say, well, I had good intentions behind it, or it was a good reason why I was trying to, I was manipulating the situation so it could work out in my favor and my benefit. I get it, right? But at the end of the day, manipulation is wrong, right? Especially when it's something that you're trying to make somebody feel guilty, you're trying to make somebody feel bad, you're trying to take that person's power away, you're trying to have control over them, right? And I'm not talking about being a narcissist. That's a whole nother level, right? But what I am talking about is manipulative behavior. And so some manipulative behavior is, so say for example, if you're a person who don't want to go and do an activity. So say for example, your mom or your dad or your spouse or your friend, they want you to do an activity that you really don't want to do, right? So usually sometimes with parents, they want their children to, you know, get into the family business or go to this school or do this job, right? And so that child may not want to do that. That child may not want to do that activity. That child may not want to go to that school. So here's where the manipulator comes in at. And here's the thing: you can be you can have manipulative behavior, but you may not always be trying to manipulate people. You just may have traits of it. And so what'll happen is that parent may say to the child, well, I've done so much for you. How don't you want to go to this school? I've sacrificed this, that, and the third for you. Guilt, you're trying to guilt them. into doing what you want. So now once the kid feels like, oh man, they did do this for me. I don't want them to feel bad. So now they done said this, now I feel bad. And all they were doing was actually expressing how they actually felt to you. So that's actually going to make them draw away from you. So when it happens in a relationship, right? An intimate relationship, the way it happens in an intimate relationship is when the spouse says, oh, I want to go here. I want to go do this thing. I want to go and visit these people. And the other person says, I'm not really feeling it. I don't really want to go. Well, I always go to places that I don't be wanting to go. I do things that I don't be wanting to do. I play the game with you and you don't want, I do this, that, and the third. Oh, well, I provide for you and I do these things for you and you won't do this for me. You being a manipulator. You got manipulative behavior. That's wrong. That's not good. If the person don't want to do it, just accept that they don't want to do it. How about go a step further? Ask them why they don't want to do it. You may learn that there is a reason why they don't want to engage in that activity. So stop trying to control that person and control the situation and tell them, you know, okay, I understand that you don't want to do this. Why not? I'm not trying to change your mind. I just want to dig into your mind and I want to actually learn why you don't want to do this or why you don't want to go here. You may actually develop a bond closer with this person because now you are digging into the mind of them. So instead of digging into their mental and their emotional in a way that's going to make them feel guilty, because what'll happen is they'll be like, all right, I guess I'll go. I really don't want to go, but because, I know you really want me to go, I'm going to go. And they're like, all right, thanks, cool, thanks, let's go, let's do this. And now the other person is mad because their behavior is off. They're like, why are you acting like that? Why your energy all off? Well, you already know why their energy off because they told you that they didn't want to go in the first place. They told you that they didn't want to do it in the first place. Now, I'm not saying that you should always just be like, oh, well, I ain't feeling it and I don't want to go. You got to learn to synergize, right? See how y'all can, and I'm not talking about compromise, see how y'all can actually come up with something that'll actually benefit better than what you both expected. That's what synergize is. And so what'll happen is when a person feels like they're being manipulated, that's the level of fear that they have. They fear you in some type of way, right? They may fear because I don't want to hear her voice again. Oh, I don't want to hear his voice again. I know he gonna get like this. Oh, I know he gonna get like that. And it's just like they fear the confrontation with you. So that's why they're not actually speaking up, right? They're giving their power over to you. You have power over that person when you do that. And so what's going to help us is actually being able to see that that is behavior that we should not have. If we truly, really love that person, that's behavior we don't want to have. And so we also want to know how to stop manipulative behavior because we know manipulation happens, but sometimes people don't know how to stop it. So now we're about to transition into how we can get into the space of stopping being manipulated or how to stop being a manipulator. Well, if you're a manipulator and you have manipulative behavior, one, you really need to work on your self-esteem. Because usually people that have that disposition, they either have low self-esteem or they have low confidence. And so they always question what the other person is doing. They question their validity in the relationship, no matter what dynamic it is. So usually like with kids and parents, so the parent may have a self-esteem issue. Well, I have a self-esteem issue because I think that they should be doing this with their life, or I didn't do this with my life, or I did this with my life, so you should do this too. It worked out for me, so that's why it will work out for you, or it didn't work out for me, and that's why you should do this, and that's why I'm trying to be so controlling of your life. That's what we have to actually get into the realm of, to stop being a manipulator. Also, we want to get rid of the perfectionist mindset. So get rid of the mindset of everything has to be so perfect. It has to be like this. And if it's not like this, then it's not going to work out. It doesn't have to be. Because guess what? You're not perfect, so life can never be perfect. The only thing that can seem to be perfect is a picture. And even that is flawed. Right? So if we actually start looking at that, and we have to question our motives. Like, in order for us to get out of manipulating behavior, we really have to question our motives. And once we start questioning our motives, then we'll be able to actually say, am I a manipulator? Why am I doing this? Is it because I'm trying to have them react a certain way? That's why I'm saying what I'm saying to them. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing for them. That's where it actually gets interesting, because we start working on self. We start working on the reason why we're doing these things. We start really questioning our motives. And once we question our motives and we get to the root cause of us, well, now we can actually get out of manipulative behavior. How do you stop being a person that's getting manipulated? Well, one, you have to take back your power. Once you take back your power, because you gave away your power. So once you actually take back your power and you say, I'm not going to allow this behavior to happen. I'm not going to allow you to do this to me. I'm not going to feel bad for this. I'm not going to feel bad for saying no. I am not obligated to do this. Everything is a choice. Once you take back your power, you will be able to stop a person from manipulating. Stop feeling guilty for your reason. So if you have a reason for something, for either not doing something or doing something, whatever your reason is, don't feel bad about that. That is your reason, and you are entitled to that. And that is okay. So that's something else. Have to be okay within yourself and how you feel. Once you get okay within yourself and how you feel, now you'll actually develop the ability to stop being manipulated, because you are going to be confident in your feelings. So once we get confident in our feelings and we are okay with our decisions and we're okay with our actions, it is very difficult for someone to now manipulate you into doing what they want you to do. So if there is a hairstyle or something like that that you have, and somebody is like, well, you shouldn't have this hairstyle, or you should look this way, or this is the construct that you have to fit in, this is the box that you need to fit in, well, choose to say, I'm not doing anything wrong, and I'm entitled to actually have this characteristic. That is my choice. They don't have to like it. And you should be okay with saying, well, if that is the construct, then I don't have to follow that construct, and I don't have to follow those guidelines, because again, I'm not doing anything wrong. And if I'm not doing anything wrong, then I can choose to actually not follow the construct, and maybe this is not fit for me anyway. Maybe this doesn't sit well with me anyway, so I'm not going to do it. And that is okay. So once we now get into those spaces and we feel that level of comfortability within ourselves, we feel more comfortable being expressive, then that is going to now help us to not be manipulated. So remember, Greatness is a mindset. You have greatness within you. And on that note, go be great. So now it's time for one of my moments. And so one of my moments that I can recall having is a time when I actually was younger. And when I was younger, I'm talking about 15 years ago. I was younger and I was around about 16, 17. And during this moment is the time I was in high school and I wore jewelry and that was the thing to do. And so fortunately, I had a mother who really cared dearly about me and wanted me to have nice things. Okay, cool. So she bought me jewelry and things like that. And so something that happened was people thought that I was always to myself and I was always by myself because they usually tended to see me alone. Well, in reality is I knew a lot of people and I rolled with a lot of people. And so because of that, I navigated to all those different areas. I was that person that knew almost everybody, right? And so because of that, and me wearing the jewelry, obviously, what happens? People want what you have. And so there was a person that would actually wanted the things that I had, and they were contemplating robbing me. Real life situation, real life event that happened to me. Well, what ended up happening was they started talking to somebody that they didn't know that I knew and I was very close with. Long story short, I didn't get robbed. And that is a moment when I realized that material possessions and flashy things can bring the wrong attention to you. And so it made me not want to wear jewelry of no form at all. It made me not want to have flashy things and flashy clothes and things of that nature because it made me say, well, all this did was make me a target. It made me say, well, if that person was willing to rob me, then what else were they willing to do to me? And so thankfully, again, I didn't get robbed. And I did choose to stop wearing jewelry at that point. I was still in high school. I stopped wearing jewelry. And I'm not saying that, there's anything wrong with people that wear jewelry and things like that, but we do know that there are a lot of people that get killed for the possessions that they have because somebody else wants it, and so, people envy you for different reasons. But one of the reasons why people may look at you as somebody who has a measure of material possessions is because they see you with it on. So even if it is jewelry, even if it's shoes or things of that nature, we have to understand that that makes us a target. And so that is my moment when I had a moment of reflection of saying, this is not for me. I don't want to be a target. I don't want to have a showy display of what I have. Hence, wink, wink. That's the scripture in the Bible. And so I stopped doing that a long, long time ago, and I still have that disposition to this day. I don't really like to wear jewelry. I don't like to flaunt anything that I have or anything of that nature. So remember, greatness is a mindset, and I want you to always go and be great.
Nobody starts at the finish line. You have to start somewhere. In order for you to get to where you're going, to meet that destination, you can't think that you're going to get there instantly.